Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video on Lumber Capital Log Yard. Remember a couple months back when we were trying to get an account for our firewood bundles at the Exxon down the road? Well, great news, we ended up getting it, and we're going to be making a delivery to not that Exxon, but actually another Exxon we have an account with today, and we're going to be showing you how you guys can do something very similar to us with little to no investment. So let's get into this video. So ever since we got the Axis firewood splitter, we've been able to cut out one step in our bundling process that has really saved us some time. As some of you guys might remember, we used to have a little firewood splitter right there, and so we used to basically split larger chunks and then have to re-split them down even smaller, because what happens when you use the timber wolf or any kind of wedge is it's going to make your pieces as big as the wedge. You're not going to get the right size, and because our bundles require a little bit smaller pieces, it meant that we had to spend extra time splitting them down into smaller chunks. So now with the Axis, we are able to split them down to the exact size we want to the first time around, instead of double splitting basically. So now we're able to just dump a huge pile of firewood here and load up the little window we have right there, and it saves a whole step. We've been having a little bit of bad weather today, and it might even last into tomorrow. So we've just been busy bundling firewood because, as you guys know, it's at least under cover. So it's a little bit better to work in here where we have the little heater, all right? That's great. But I wanted to kind of show you our system that we got going on in here. What's great about the way that we do our bundled firewood, even though it's a little bit more time consuming than getting a machine that plastic wraps it for you, is that it doesn't require any large investment. Anybody can do it. You guys can do this. And of course, you do have to have the ability to split your firewood, right? But as far as the actual bundling process goes, it doesn't require any investment at all. Just a couple of tools. Let me show you what they are. So first off, we have the netting, and this can come in a variety of shapes and strength, thickness. This stuff is on the stretchier side. We like it to be stretchy because it's really hard to fit over the tube, which you want it to be hard, but next up, of course, you're gonna need one of these. I'm guessing you could probably DIY one. It shouldn't be that hard. You just need some kind of like tube. That's actually what you're going to stretch the net over and put your wood inside. And next up we have a zip tie gun, which isn't really that necessary, scissors to cut the netting, and of course a lot of zip ties. We also have coffee, which isn't a tool, but necessary nonetheless. As far as our zip ties go, we've had trouble with them snapping, and that is just not good. So when we just go and like buy zip ties, say from like Surplus City or Lowe's, they always snap. So we've been ordering them. I mean, we need to order zip ties in bulk anyhow. We go through a lot of zip ties. But we get like weather resistant ones, which we have found are at least a little bit better. Honestly, zip ties, I swear, I feel like every time we get them, it's different. They're somehow different, like they're never the same. So I don't know. We've tried out a lot of different kinds of zip ties, but for now we just use whatever the most durable one we can find is, that's not too over the top, obviously. So another thing that we do is we put tags on all of our bundles, and we think that this is a very important part of it, so we have spared no expense with these. And Kazgear actually whipped these up for us, and we're pretty pleased with them. Kazgear makes all of our merch, so a big shout out and thanks to them. They do a great job. And yeah, we just love these little tags. We think that they're just really nice, high quality, and when a customer buys a bundle, it's kind of like a shame to throw it away, right? And that's kind of what you want. And we talk about some other things that we do, and then there's also another side to it with all of our social media platform stuff. All right, now let's make some bundles. We have to start out by making the bag, and what we have here is just kind of a sight indicator here, so I know how long to pull out and make the bag. We make them pretty long with a little extra there, but that's the line. Basically, I'm just going to take it and pull it, and right where my finger is at is right where I cut it, and I just let it fall onto the floor and grab another one like that. And if you just make a bunch at a time, it's the fastest way to do it, honestly. And then instead of making one at a time and then making the full bundle, make a bunch at a time. All right, so now that we have our bags at least cut down to size, we need to tie off the ends with a zip tie. And so I'm going to find all the ends. Usually I have more than this. Sometimes I have like 20 of these bags at once. And I've got all the ends together like that, right? And then I'm gonna take my zip ties and just start zipping the ends. I like to leave a tail on the end, probably like 1.5 inches I usually do, just to make sure that it's sturdy. So now that I have all of them zipped, we have to get all of the little ends off and tighten them. And I love this little zip tie gun because it tightens the zip ties for you really nice and tight. You don't want to overdo it because you can break the zip ties, obviously, too much. It is just a zip tie. But it's really quick and it pops them off for you. So now the bags are all ready. Well, actually not quite. We still have to open all of them up. So the unfortunate part about it is that you can't just peel them over the tube because they're just so tight. It's hard to do that. So we actually open every single one of them up basically by just peeling them open like this. It doesn't take a crazy amount of time, but it is kind of a pain and hard on your hands. So I have Jade working with me as well, and between the two of us we have a really great system going where I usually make the bags and peel them open, trying to keep up with her because it can get challenging to keep all the bags open for her, so she doesn't have to open any of them herself. I usually try and just open the mouth up as wide as possible, but then she usually takes the bag and actually does the loading process, and then from there I finish up the bags. She puts the bags over there and I finish them up by tagging them and putting them on the pallet. All right, so now that I have my bag all opened up, I'm gonna go ahead and hand it to Jade, and she's going to get started on the bundling process. So the actual loading process is really a skill at knowing how to puzzle piece the wood in there so it's all nice and tight, because we don't want loose room, and so we try and fit as many pieces in there as possible, and so it's just all about finding the right piece. And now she's going to secure the end with a zip tie. This is the second zip tie. And then she's going to twist it and make a handle with the rest. And now for the final touch, I have to secure on our tag, and I just do this around the handle here. And we like the handles. I think it adds a nice touch to the bundles to have a way to easily carry it. These bundles, once they dry out, do get lighter, but they are kind of heavy. So depending, but it's a nice secure handle that you can lift the full bag with. So we like doing it that way because it makes it easier for the customer and honestly for us. All right, we're here at the Exxon and we're going to get to unloading these firewood bundles. This is their rack that they have. All right, so a total of 16 bundles fits in this rack, and it was actually completely empty, so we stocked the whole thing. So they should be happy now that they are restocked. And Jade purposely turned that one over so the other side would show. I just thought that that was funny. Anyways, that's it for today's video, everyone. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe and like. But other than that, we'll see you guys next time.